melody line has got something of the minimalists, people like Steve Reich and Philip Glass about it. So it's a little system that's going on that goes like this. And so on. So it's a little system that's going on there that could go on forever.
There is so much feeling and beauty in the music on this record, and I think, you know, on this song as much as anywhere else, and I think Jonny Greenwood has a lot to do with that. Greenwood, I just think, is a sort of instinctively a kind of a composer of genius, if you like. I think his musical contributions in terms of his sort of guitar overlays and arpeggios and the way that the guitars work with the keyboards on OK Computer is just staggeringly lovely, really. It's so beautiful.
And he's a virtuoso. He's basically capable of making sounds that nobody else gets anywhere close to.
The sixth track on the album, Karma Police, also became the second single to be released from the record. Reaching number 8 in the charts, the single has gone on to become one of Radiohead's most enduring songs.
One of the things that characterises Karma Police is the chord sequence at the opening, which can't really decide if it's in, as it were, C and A minor or E minor and G, and it's pulling between them. This may well be something that somebody would work out just at the piano, but there are things about this chord sequence which wouldn't make that much sense in terms of classical music, but it works nicely as a sequence itself.
Police is one of those Radiohead songs that expresses that kind of quiet desperation that Radiohead do so well, and obviously in some ways it's quite a bitter song. It's almost vengeful, and it is about, I think, justification and seeing things through and overcoming things. But there's a kind of quiet paranoia at work that actually comes through towards the end.
People who do wrong, one day their wrongs will catch up with them. You know, it's the very nature of karma, but there is this task force of people that go around, the karma police, who can suddenly exact revenge or recompense upon these people who've done wrong.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us.
This is what happens if you mess with us. Again, very, very sort of sinister. It's almost like, you know, the idea of the army of me, that there is this kind of mass of disaffected people that will somehow or other get their act together. It's a kind of weird mixture of, in some ways, perhaps of like wishful fantasy and hopefully sinister intention.
The kind of chorus, if you like. James Doheny is somebody I've read who spotted that as possibly referring to the track Sexy Sadie on the Beatles' White Album.
Sexy Sadie, what have you done?
It's a standard pop song so far, a little ploddy if anything. And then in the middle of the song, it just lifts and you get this beautiful sequence. Tom York in its higher range, this lovely thing, for a minute there I lost myself. And the thing I always liked about it was the word few. He always says that word, few, for a minute there I lost myself.
For a minute there I lost myself. I think of explosions in life when suddenly something comes out of the ordinary, and explosions in art and music that I think Radiohead are very capable of, and they do that, the way that songs break out from this calm. I think of Polanski films and things like that, where things are or Hitchcock, and then suddenly you get this jolt. And I think that Tom York is obviously a very sensitive man. He's very renowned for that. And it chimes in with his kind of personality, a line like that.
Fitter, happier. It's interesting how in the sort of sleeves it isn't quite part of the listings. It's almost this kind of adjunct to the rest of the album. And it's a kind of litany of all of the things that you are supposed to do as a kind of well-functioning human being in this particular society.
Fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at the gym, 3 days a week.
And also what the song does by listening in that kind of way, in that very, very sardonic way, is to expose their inadequacy. And in terms of, if you actually have any kind of notion in your head of what it might be to live in a radicalized society, then these things aren't the things that will get you there. These are the kind of values that you've got to find a way of dispensing with.
With Fitter, Happier, I think Tom's made it very explicit that he was actually looking at a lot of the kind of self-help manuals that sell in abundant quantities to people who are looking for something that's missing in their life. And I think the way in which he tackled that in basically preparing a wish list was very, very effective.
If you believe there just might be something you can do in the next 10 days that would make your personal life, your family life, and your business life better, can I see your hands, please? How many of you believe the choice is yours? How many of you believe every choice has an end result? There is something I can specifically do that will make my future either better or worse.
If you do all these things, if you tick every box, it's not necessarily